For my week 2 recap. So I think last time I left off with you guys, I was getting ready to go to the gym for the first time since I started the keto diet, and the first time in probably, I'd say, about 4 months, since I injured my leg and have been kind of just dealing with physical therapy for a while. So it went well. I had pretty good energy levels. The one thing that shocked me a little bit in hindsight is how sore I was and how long the soreness lasted. Typically, if I had taken, I don't know, maybe a month off the gym, and I worked out, and I did a chest workout after I did some leg exercises as part of my physical therapy. Anyway, normally after a chest workout, I might be sore for 2 days, maybe 3. But I was literally, my muscles were sore to the touch for almost a week. I actually just got back from the gym this morning and did another chest workout. Finally, I was waiting until the soreness would die down a little bit, and it did. So I don't know what that had to do with. It could be anything from me just being out of shape. Could have something to do with lack of carbs in the diet. It's nothing that I'm not going to change the diet. I still, as I'm going to talk about, I still think that the benefits of being in a nutritional ketosis state vastly outweigh any of the potential negatives. So working out's been going pretty well. I think I've been maybe 3 times since my last video. Starting to do maybe a little bit more than just go through the motions like I did on my first one. So that was good. So somebody commented on my, I think my last video about IF, or intermittent fasting. It's actually something that I've been, exploring a little bit over the last week. Typically, I'm not really hungry in the morning, first of all. And so it's not very difficult for me to skip breakfast. So what I've been doing, not every day, but just on days where I don't feel hungry early in the day, is basically a 16-8 intermittent fast. And what that means is for 16 hours out of a 24-hour period, I'm not eating. And then for that 8-hour period, I'm consuming all my food for the day. So typically for me, that works out to eating sometime between, say, 1 p.m. and 9 p.m. So that gives me typically a bigger lunch and a bigger dinner than I would otherwise have if, let's say, I ate 3 meals a day. It also kind of naturally limits the amount of snacking that I do as well. There's a lot of benefits associated with intermittent fasting. It would take me a long time to go over all of them. But if you're interested, there's plenty of information online. If I have some time, I'll try and add a link to some good resources below the video. So I have been doing that with some success. It feels good. I don't, if I get really hungry, I break the fast. But for the most part, again, with the diet, hunger just isn't as big of a problem as a moderate or higher carb diet. IF's been going well. Carbs. So interestingly enough, I think in one of my last videos I mentioned how the weekend was a bit of a challenge for me, and peanut butter, I think, was one of the main reasons for that. Well, last weekend, I don't know if I'd say it's a challenge. During the week, I think I was being more mindful of both my caloric intake and probably my macros. And then, well, definitely my macros. And then over the weekend, a little less so. And I woke up on, I guess it was just yesterday. I woke up Monday morning, and I went and logged my food for Sunday because I hadn't done that during the day. And I realized that my net carb count was probably somewhere close to 40, which is, a lot higher than most people suggest, which would be 20 grams a day, to maintain ketosis. But what was interesting about that was how I felt yesterday morning. It's a learning experience for me. Everybody's threshold for what level of carbohydrates will kind of bring back some of those feelings that most people experience when they have a moderate carbohydrate or high carb diet. For me, evidently, it was probably around that 40 number because I just didn't feel that great yesterday. Yesterday was the first day in a while that I woke up feeling still tired, and I got a reasonable amount of sleep. I was yawning a little bit throughout the day, And again, there's so many factors it could be. But the important part is, again, kind of just acknowledging it. And that's part of what this video is for. It's for me to look back on and go, yeah, you know, when you had more than 40 carbs or 30 or whatever it may be, and, you know, maybe I didn't exercise yesterday, or Sunday rather, maybe all of those things combined, unfortunately, you know, start me down a path of not feeling as well as I have been. So that was a learning experience. You know, a lot of people I read on Reddit and various sources online, and even some of the comments in my video. You know, it's easy to sometimes fall off the wagon and, you know, have a slice of pizza or whatever it may be. And I would tell everybody, you know, don't let that be an excuse to continue to eat that way if you don't want to. And it's really a choice. It's up to you. You take a moment, if you had a piece of pizza or whatever it may have been, that's not quote unquote, you know, ketogenic, take a look back and acknowledge how you felt about that. You know, I'm sure it tasted good. It may have tasted good when you were eating it, but how did you feel afterwards? And there's nothing that says you can't just after that piece or the next day go back to a, you know, a more ketogenic diet. And it, you know, there may be another adaptation period. It just depends on the individual. You may, for the next couple of days, feel like not so well again. But the point being, just because you have a high carb day, if you're on this journey, don't let it stop you from continuing. Just learn from it. At least that's what I've done. My mood, I want to touch on that real quick. It's been really good. A couple of interesting things that I noted that I don't remember doing for a long time. So it sounds kind of weird. Singing in the car and singing in the shower. I know that sounds kind of strange, but I found myself doing it more than once and kind of laughed at the same time. And I don't know if it's, you know, a lot of the benefits that I've read about and I'm experiencing as part of my transformation and you know, trying to achieve this nutritional ketosis include kind of euphoric feelings. It's pretty common, and I'm sure my hormone levels, everything's adjusting, and it's getting me to a point where I'm that happy. And I wasn't an unhappy person to begin with, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't sing in the car, and I have more than once. And I'm sure some people have caught me at stoplights. So that was kind of interesting. And I'm sure I'll continue to do so because that's just kind of how I feel right now as I'm, you know, as I've changed my diet. So also, like, I think high energy levels have caused me to maybe like, what do you call it, like bounce your leg up and down. You know, I'm sitting at work or whatever, I'm not really anxious about anything, I'm not stressed, and I'm doing it right now. Anyway, so energy levels have been really high, other than, as I mentioned yesterday, and I have a feeling that had to do with my weekend. So another learning experience there, and it wasn't necessarily peanut butter this weekend. Lastly, weight. So I lost about 3 pounds, a little over 2 pounds actually, this last week. I think it probably could have been a little higher, but with Sunday, with me eating a little bit more carbs than I expected, I think I probably have a little bit of water weight, so we'll see what happens next week. Anyway, really, this has been a fantastic journey. It's not always easy. There are days that are harder than others. The carb cravings, they come and go. They're not as strong now as they were, but I'm dreaming about it. I dream about eating carbs, as crazy as that sounds. The brain plays tricks. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'll make another video in about a week. If you're doing this thing, as they say on Reddit, keep calm and keto on. Talk to you later.